Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we've got Reef Guardian hard mode on the DK main tank. A couple days ago, it might have been one day, might have been 2 days, can't remember. We looked at Twins hard mode, and now we're on to Reef. This is not from the same run as the other video. This is actually a full vit run, but you know, we're gonna look at it. Okay, get. Let me turn that down. I don't want to hear myself. I'm self-conscious.
Ready?
Okay, so let's talk about it, right? Let's look at what I'm wearing. First off, I'm in Pearlescent Ward, Baron Zodris, and Elfbane. So you might think, hey, that's kind of funky. That's kind of weird. The fuck? I've never heard of Elfbane, you know? We'll get to that. Yeah, it is a funky setup. Pretty much, if you're gonna do Reef Guardian hard mode tanking, you're gonna need a couple things. You're gonna need Magma Shell. You're gonna need Vampire so that you can use the skill called Exhilarating Drain. And then you need, I mean, I guess you don't need it, but I highly recommend Elfbane as a 5-piece set. So what Elfbane is going to do is it's going to extend the duration of your flame abilities. Things that do flame damage. So you might be thinking like, damn, what the fuck are you using? Like what are you extending with that? Magma Shell actually does flame damage when you use it. Only a little bit, like a tiny amount as a tank, but it still does flame damage. So it's going to extend the duration of the Magma Shell buff. So that's why we're using Elfbane on the tank, is to extend the duration of our Magma Shell. It's actually really, really helpful. So like what Magma Shell does is for the duration, every single attack gets reduced down to like, I can't remember, it's like 10% of your health, something like that. It's some really like extremely low number. It reduces all incoming damage to something really, really small. So it makes you're pretty much like immune to dying for a solid, you know, couple seconds. But using Elfbane, we can extend that duration. And then, like I said before, Exhilarating Drain, the vampire skill, you're going to be using that with Minor Heroism. I use Heroism from Ultipots. And then Baron Zodris is going to give you ultimate as well. Basically, you're just sitting here generating as much ulti as possible so that you can spam Magma Shells. Pretty much, kind of. I'll explain more about that here in a second, but that's the idea. You're an ultimate genning machine with this build. You have to be. Okay, so starting off, we are starting the fight where Reef Guardian spawns. We're just gonna bring him to this little hole in the ground. I can't remember. Crown and Chalice are the two reefs. We're starting at Chalice, so
I'm going to
that's where we're at.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. I'm taunting it, and then right off the bat, this is always gonna happen. Like within 2 or 3 seconds, the Reef Guardian is going to split. And now there's 2 of them, and then one of them is going to channel. He's gonna go to this Chalice right here. Cool, neat. So this is normal. Like you're just kind of sitting here getting hit. Nothing's going on. But here comes the fun part soon.
Coming up?
Right here. Acid reflux. So this is what kills people in Reef Guardian as the main tank. When you are getting spit on, this will hurt. And if you see at the bottom of my screen, this little poison bubble, you can hardly read it, I'm sure, but it says 2 and it's lasting for 3 seconds. So this is, oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's acidic vulnerability. I think that sounds right. You get a stacking debuff, and the more times that you touch this poison circle, or any of the poison circles on the ground from acid reflux, the more times you touch that, the higher the stacks go, and it makes you take more damage from the poison. So if you just sit here and eat a shitload of the poison, then the damage ramps up to an amount that you cannot handle without having Magma Shell procced. Because remember what we said earlier, when you proc Magma Shell, all incoming damage gets reduced to a finite number, like 10% of your max health, something like that. It's some really, really small number. So you pretty much Magma Shell when you get acid refluxed, whenever you get coned on. I don't hear, because actually I did. I lied. No, I lied. I did it late for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Get ready to move.
And then here's an interesting thing. You see that my taunt is actually running off on these other two Reef Guardians. Like one of them is completely untaunted. That's actually untrue. For some odd reason in the Reef Guardian fight, I don't know why. Like I don't know what the reasoning is, but when you taunt a Reef Guardian, that Reef Guardian will stay aggroed to you forever. Forever, unless somebody else taunts it or you die. So if you're alive and you taunted a Reef Guardian, you do not have to re-up taunt on it. It's just always going to come back to you. Even after it goes and channels a Reef Heart and it comes back, it will still be aggroed to you. So pretty much the idea in Reef Guardian is taunt every single Reef Guardian one time, and then you shouldn't have to do it again. So there we go. I taunted my two new Reef Guardians, and now we're moving. The idea as the MT is, let's go back. Let's go back to the very, very, very beginning. We're starting at Chalice, right? So this is more of like a raid lead thing, but I guess it applies to the main tank. You should know this. The strat for Reef Guardian is you saw how he split immediately off the bat.
2, 1.
Normally, when you're doing Reef Guardian, when a Reef Heart summons, you send a team down to go kill it. But as you can see right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in my group are already downstairs. They are prepping to kill this Reef Heart because they know that it's going to spawn immediately. So the strat is that they're just going to go down there and kill it, right? So why not? Because he always splits and channels off the bat. So they're just already down there ready for it. But after this opening, you're going to be moving the group, like, was it clockwise around the arena, starting at Crossbones. I think it's Crossbones. Should be the next one.
Get ready to move.
So as soon as I get all of my Reef Guardians here, you know, we're moving. We are on the move. We are going, yes, this is Crossbones. So, Crossbones and I think it's Anchor. No, Skull. It's Crossbones and Skull. There we go. Those two go together. So this will be a team. A Reef team. 2 people go down, they'll kill Crossbones and they'll kill Skull. So, every time that like a pair of Reef Hearts is activated, then you need to move clockwise, right? So I'll explain that here in a second. Here I am getting pounded on. The OT took my Reef Guardian, so I have to taunt it back off of him. Okay, so you see this guy? He just ran over to Skull. So Crossbones and Skull are both channeling right now. So if I stay here, then the Reef Guardians may or may not run backwards. We don't want that to happen. We want to keep moving clockwise. So when these two channel, I'm going to move to the next pair, which is going to be Anchor and Wheel. And then we plant there.
Crossbones 20%.
Loose bear.
Okay, so what was Anchor just started, so then Wheel is after Anchor. That's another pair. That's another Reef team. But no Reef Guardian has ran off to Wheel yet, so we're kind of just chilling here until that happens. So we get to stay and do damage.
Did not get one.
Now you see I'm being coned. This is when I'm going to pop my Magma Shell as soon as the cone starts. The Magma buff with Elfbane is going to be looked like 18 seconds.
Did not get a warning on.
Like 17, 18, I don't know the exact duration, but like something along those lines, 17 or 18. So magma shell will last a full acid reflux or multiple.
We can go down to.
And then you'll see here I'm using Exi-Drain and I'm keeping up Elisas on everything to proc Baron's Audris. So I'm literally just like genning ulti like a motherfucker. That is what I'm doing. You also don't have to block while you're in magma shell during Reef Guardian. You just sit here and you Exi-Drain. Build as much ultimate as possible.
Cowgirl when you have it.
I have magma back. I'm ready to go. Damn, the recording's kind of bugging out there because the Reef Guardian's like in it, but yeah. So big tip. As soon as you're, hold on, let me try to find it. I apologize. Okay, so as soon as you're done with acid reflux, you're gonna move out of it. But while you're in it, no circles will spawn as long as you stay in a circle. If you keep getting coned in one circle, no other additional circles will spawn. You're just gonna be standing in one circle. That's it. And then as soon as the reflux is done, I'm going to step out. And the reason why I'm stepping out of the circle is so that I can lose my stacks of acidic vulnerability. I'm currently up to 10 stacked acidic vulnerability debuffs. But they go away in 3 seconds. So all I have to do is be out of it. And now they're gone. So now my acidic vulnerability has reset to 0. I'm going to take less damage from them.
Cowgirl when you have it.
But you don't want to step in the circle again. Because every time you're in the circle, like every second, it's going to add a second to the debuff. So avoid standing in those as much as possible unless you have a magma shell and you're like actively being coned. So like this guy, he's gonna come up here. He might cone me soon.
Skull 20%.
Nope, he just ran. So he ran to was it anchor and wheel? So he ran to wheel.
Skull is done.
Now I'm gonna sit here until this guy dies.
20%.
We're still chilling.
Guy needs to
We don't have to move yet.
move on.
Okay, acid reflux. I'm going to magma shell.
Anchor's up.
Bam, I magma shelled. And I'm gonna sit still in this little thing. I'm gonna Exi drain. I'm gonna build as much ulti as possible. Oh, the guy actually died, but we go after he splits. He's splitting right now. I'm moving.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're on the move to Crown and Chalice, because I've got a bunch of Reef Guardians and I don't want them to go backwards like we talked about before. I want to keep moving clockwise, so I'm dragging them with me. We're going to Crown, we're going to
Solace when
Chalice.
you're home, we'll get Solace.
Crown active.
And then Cowgirl when you have it.
Wheels at 20.
Huge. I'm getting coned and I don't have a magma shell. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Ooh. But did you guys see that? Rewatch that. Look at me roll that. Ooh. Okay, my bad. Cool. So I'm gonna get coned. I'm gonna get my magma shell soon. I'm gonna pop it, and then I'm gonna stand still.
Ignore it.
Don't want to create too many circles. You just want to sit in the circles, and then as soon as you're done being coned, get out so you can lose your stacks. See, right now I'm actually at 21 stacks of acidic vulnerability. That's really, really high. You don't want to be that high. So now that all the poison's gone, I'm sitting outside of it so I can lose my stacks.
Roll up freely when you have it.
My acidic vulnerability is gone. It is no longer there. I'm reset back to 0, baby. Let's go. I've almost got a magma, so I'm ready for the next cone. Okay, magma because I coned, or I got coned, so I magma'd.
Bench on healer.
You saw Crown and Chalice have already activated. So it depends entirely on your group's damage push. But this guy's going to die. He's the last Reef Guardian that's up right now. So
Crown 20%.
he's not gonna go anywhere. He'll die here. So I'm not moving. I could move, but I'm not moving because I trust that he's gonna die. These guys are also going to die as well. The guys that finish channeling, like, there's no way that they're gonna run off again. So we get to just stay here and kill them off.
Is this the last one?
This is a very risky move. Don't do that. Don't ever do that in practice. Don't ever swing the cone on your teammates because that will one-shot them. Or it can if you unlucky tick them.
Ooh,
It's this guy and the other guy who's channeling right now.
Okay, so this
So
guy's
they
gonna
fight
die
to
here,
restore
like I
info.
said. And now we've only got one more guy.
Yep, let's go.
So we can just go to him and
There's
kill
still
him.
lightning
We don't have to move
Chalice,
anymore. There's no
20%.
point.
Loose stack.
Chalice is
We're
done.
good now.
Too long.
Yes, he will die here. But, you know, imagine if we did have more Reef Guardians up and they were more healthy. We would just continue walking over to, like, Crossbones and Skull. And just keep going as many times as you need to until everything's dead. But with this group, we're doing it fast enough to where we only had to go around the circle, like, one time. Okay, so there's probably a couple more things that we needed to talk about. Let's go ahead and go through that. Like, when do you move is probably a big important thing. It really depends on your group damage. Kind of. If you're trying to, like, push more damage, you'll stay there longer, but you don't want to stay there too long because then they run backwards, shit like that. So I'll try to explain to you my thought process, what I'm thinking of, like, when I'm tanking Reef. So we're starting
I'm going
here
to pull
at this
in
first spot.
3, 2, 1.
Loose stack.
Big guy is going to channel,
Upstairs.
and then as soon as he's done channeling, I'm only gonna have 2 Reef Guardians. I don't have to move yet.
Bear on central here.
Something. Don't know the math on it. Don't know how it works. But when Reef Guardians get pushed to a certain health percentage, that's part, like, there's multiple moving parts to it, but when they get pushed to a certain health percentage and on a timer, that's when they start running off to summon Reef Hearts. It's like 90%, something like that. Like, if one of them gets pushed to 90%, they'll split, or I really have no idea. I don't know the math on that. You'd have to ask somebody else. I just tank, man. I just block. I XC drain. I Mech Michelle. Okay, so in groups where you have really high pushes, you'll see this off the bat. You'll see like, both of the Reef Guardians at the beginning are going to split, and then you move. You don't have to do it like that. You could just move immediately after the Reef Guardian got done with his Reef Heart. I like to stay here until they split. Doesn't really matter. But the thing is, let's go back just a second. Remember that you're always going clockwise. Okay, so
There are ults.
always hold the Reef Guardians as if you're going clockwise. So, like, I'm standing where I'm at right now in a clockwise manner to go around the circle instead of standing on the other side where they would go backwards.
Moving.
So I'm standing where I want them to go, if that makes sense. Their proximity to, like, a reef hole is, like, part of what determines where they go. So okay, so when to move, right? Once you get here. Well, nobody has ran off yet, so I don't have to move. Like, think in pairs, like I've talked about before. If this is Crossbones and Skull have to be active before I'm moving. I'm not moving until then. Okay, so this guy ran off, so now I can move. Like, guaranteed, if I don't move, then one of them is going to go backwards.
We're moving,
So
let's
I'm
go.
moving.
Watch my cone.
So now we want Anchor and Wheel to be
Crossbones,
active before we
22%.
move.
Loose bear.
One thing I will tell you, this big guy that came in, this is the big guy from the beginning that channeled at the first reef. I think. I think it is. He's not going to channel at a Reef Heart for like a very long time, if ever. I don't think I've ever seen this guy run off.
Did not get a warning on that.
We can go down to.
So don't ever worry about this big guy. He channeled at the beginning. That's it. That's all he gets.
Solus?
Pilly in 3, 2, 1.
But so this is Anchor and this is Wheel. Wheel has not been channeled at yet, so we're free to stay here. The only time you have to move is if you need room. Like if you somehow put poison puddles all over the place. But if you did it how I showed you, you shouldn't have that problem. Remember, if you magma shell and stay still in a poison puddle, no more poison puddles will spawn around you. Just the one. So I got a new Reef Guardian.
Stalled 20%.
He came in, and he ran off to Wheel.
Stalls.
So at this very moment, if you wanted to, you could move, and it would be valid. But I know that this Reef Guardian right in front of me, this big guy, he's not gonna run off anywhere because he's really low health. You know, he's about to die, and two, I have never seen this man run off like in my life. So I'm gonna sit here. I'm not gonna move.
20%.
He's not gonna run off. He's fine.
Big guy needs to die here. Yolo?
The new Reef Guardians that come in though, they are a different story. So big guy died, and both Anchor and Wheel have been channeled at. So right now would be a great time to move.
Big guy.
Great time, fantastic time. But I'm not moving because I want to try to get the team more damage. That's all I'm doing. I'm just grading damage a little bit. I'm also waiting for a split. So you see this Reef Guardian. This Reef Guardian is doing replication right now, so he's making another copy.
He's splitting right now.
So I'm grabbing everything and I'm moving. My checklist has been fulfilled. Both Anchor and Wheel have been channeled at. So I'm moving to Crown and Chalice.
Crown active.
See, if I had waited any longer, they might have went backwards.
And then Cowgirl.
That was actually a risky movement there.
Wheels at 20.
So Crown and Chalice, that's where we're at now. If Crown has been activated, then we're still waiting on Chalice. Nobody's ran to Chalice yet.
Wheels up.
Oh, that was scary.
Ignore.
Still waiting on him to go to Chalice. Haven't waited yet.
Pilly.
So we can stay here. That right there. That guy just ran off the Chalice. So now Crown and Chalice have both been channeled at. If you wanted to, you could move right now and it would be valid.
Yolo, you can call up freely when you have it.
But I'm not going to because I don't want to. In this group, we have enough damage to kill both of these Reef Guardians before they move to a new spot. If you were to stay here and you had low damage, they would run backwards for sure. Promise. But I trust that they'll die, so I'm staying here. This is where I'm going to end the cycle at. In different groups, it depends. You could do it faster, you could do it
20%.
slower. Completely depends on how big your burn is.
Kill this guy. He should die.
But if I
Oh,
wanted to
he's
move, it would be valid.
Cowgirl.
He'll die.
Like if this guy was higher health, I would definitely move just to make sure that he went to the right place, like clockwise.
Watch spit. Ooh.
It's
That's about it. It's really that simple. You like just make sure that the two in the pair, like Crown and Chalice, make sure both of them have been channeled at or are channeling, and then you can move. You know, just make sure that that's happened. You're always moving clockwise around the arena. One tip I don't think I've talked about. I'm not sure if I even showcase it at all. Maybe here, but one thing to talk about. If you are being coned and you don't have a magma shell and you don't want to die, you can roll dodge and you will skip a tick of damage from the cone. So theoretically, if you wanted to, during an entire 10-second acid reflux, during an entire duration of cone for 10 seconds, you could spam roll dodge the entire time and you would avoid all damage. But there is no way in hell that you are going to be able to roll dodge for 10 seconds, like, in it, like, no way. Ain't no way. So realistically, you're only gonna be able to get like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 roll dodges at most. With expert evasion and all that combined, you're probably only gonna get like 3, 4, 5 roll dodges off realistically. Any more than that, you're just gonna completely bottom out on stam, and you're not gonna be able to roll dodge again. But yeah, if you roll dodge, you'll skip a tick of acid reflux. So, let's say your acidic vulnerability is up to like 25 million stacks. But you've got like, no magma shell and you got 1 second left on the cone. Oh no, what are you gonna do? Just try roll dodging. You'll skip that last tick.
Oh, fuck.
I don't think that's what I was doing there, but it is a tip. Regardless, just roll dodge. Okay. I think that's about it. Not too much more to talk about. If you got any questions, if I missed anything, let me know. But yeah, the big idea here is just move when both Reef Heart pairs have been channeled at. Keep moving clockwise. When you get coned, Magma Shell, and stay still, and then build up as much ulti as possible. That's about it. Ain't too much more than that. Okay, I'll see you guys later.